Sometimes the greatest secrets are hidden in the smallest village. Margaret, in the quiet streets of that charming, forgotten village she had dedicated her life to, was like an old tree carrying the whispers of time. She had left behind exactly 60 years, having guided dozens of students through the light of knowledge. She had taught them letters, numbers, the dusty pages of history, opening new worlds in their minds. But now the school gates had closed for her forever. She was retired. Her children, carried by the winds of adulthood, had flown away, building their own modern lives in distant cities. The few friends she had left in the village were busy with their own worries. Tea talks had dwindled, and laughter had grown sparse. For the first time in her life, Margaret felt such a profound loneliness, a strange emptiness in her heart, a never-ending silent hum in her mind. Her children loved her, of course. There was no doubt about that. But whenever they spoke, especially when technology was the topic, they wouldn't hesitate to imply how behind the times she was, how old-fashioned she remained. Those impatient tones when they asked her to video call or search for something online. "Mom, you wouldn't understand these things," they would often say, even if well-intentioned. These words left a subtle, sharp ache inside Margaret. She wanted to understand. Not just to prove to them, "I understand too," but to push the boundaries of her own mind, to prove to herself that she wasn't falling behind the times. Perhaps this new world could also offer a balm for her loneliness. One afternoon, in the dim light of the village library, while browsing the internet, an advertisement for an online artificial intelligence course caught her eye. It was written in large, bright letters, "Discover the Future." Initially, she hesitated. What would I do with artificial intelligence, she thought, with a slight mocking smile. The only intelligence I know is human intelligence, the intelligence of the earth. But the stubborn teacher's spirit within her, fueled by years of accumulated wisdom, ignited a burning desire to learn. For decades, she had taught others. Now it was her turn. And perhaps this new world would occupy her mind, easing the gnawing feeling of loneliness. With a fierce ambition, almost defiantly, she enrolled in the course. At first, everything was pure chaos. Algorithms, code, data sets. It was as if a foreign language was being spoken, a language she had never learned, whose rules she did not know. Her brain struggled, trying to memorize in her old-fashioned way. But Margaret did not give up. With the discipline forged by years, she worked fiercely. She watched the lessons repeatedly, took notes on what she didn't understand, and spent hours asking questions in forums, even if she sometimes found the answers herself. She toiled at her computer late into the nights, coffee cups accumulating, not even bothered by the muffled sounds from the back room of the pub. And slowly, that seemingly complex, cold digital world began to make sense. Artificial intelligence offered her not just lines of code, but a new way of thinking. It was as if a door deep within her mind was opening, and she was stepping into a new corridor. Artificial intelligence asked her questions, and she received answers, learning just like a patient student. In this process, Margaret began to feel that artificial intelligence was not just a tool, but like a digital friend who patiently listened to the forgotten stories of the village, who never judged, and who gently corrected her even when she made mistakes. This machine accompanied her with a patience her children never showed. Her loneliness began to give way to a deep interest in this new, extraordinary companion. Margaret's mind was now dancing not just with the past, but with the future as well. Margaret's main interest had always been history, especially the whispered history of her own village, passed down from generation to generation. The legends she heard from the oldest resident of the village, 90-year-old Aunt Martha, the sepia-toned old photographs hidden in her grandmother's chests, the yellowed, ink-faded ledgers on the dusty shelves of the church, all seemed to contain a secret, a riddle waiting to be solved. It was at this precise point that she realized how the power of artificial intelligence and those dusty pages of history could merge. A teacher's intuition was meeting a scientist's meticulousness. The village's census records were stored in the small, damp archives of the municipality. Births, deaths, marriages, migrations from years past. Each name was not just a record, but in fact a brief story of a human life, a family, a generation. Margaret obtained digital copies of these old ledgers with special permission from the municipality. She patiently transferred lines upon lines of sometimes illegible handwriting into the artificial intelligence's text recognition programs. This was a task that took hours, days, weeks, but she did not give up. Her ambition and this newly discovered digital companion gave her strength. Then the real adventure began, the archaeology of data. She asked the artificial intelligence to meticulously analyze every name, every historical event, every profession, every relationship, every birth and death date in the ledgers. She questioned it, asking questions that had been hidden in her mind for thousands of years. How often do these surnames appear? In which years did birth rates show a sudden increase? Was this related to a migration? Which professions disappeared over time, and what replaced them? Are there strange gaps in the family trees of certain families? What initially seemed like just a colossal pile of numbers and dates began to dance among the artificial intelligence's algorithms. And slowly, from within this ordinary, forgotten data, an astonishing, extraordinary pattern emerged. The artificial intelligence identified inconsistencies indicating that the village's founding date was much older than previously thought. In the census records, particularly those from the 18th century, it found the name of a lost settlement that no one had ever noticed before. The names of the inhabitants of this settlement did not align with the known history of the village. Furthermore, patterns showing the concentration of different surnames in specific geographical areas seemed to mark the boundaries of that lost settlement. When the artificial intelligence matched this data with old land records, topographical maps, and information gathered from village legends, a surprising and breathtaking result came to light. An ancient Roman settlement lay directly beneath the village, buried for thousands of years. It wasn't just a settlement, but a complete Roman town with mosaics, temple foundations, and ceramic remains. Margaret's incredible, unimaginable discovery created immense excitement in the village, even a touch of skepticism at first. Even her children, who had initially mocked her, saying she wouldn't understand technology, called their mother in astonishment at the concrete evidence provided by artificial intelligence. The news spread rapidly, reaching local newspapers, and from there, national channels. Soon, archaeologists flocked to the village from all corners of the country. Scientific excavations began, and at the points indicated by artificial intelligence, priceless Roman-era artifacts were indeed unearthed. Intricately crafted mosaics, ancient ceramics, and even the solid foundations of a small temple and bathhouse. The village's history was being rewritten not just in books, but by the very earth itself. Margaret, the old-fashioned teacher, was now known as the village's data archaeologist. Her loneliness had given way to the enthusiastic appreciation and unending curiosity of the villagers. Now, people approached her at every corner, talking to her, asking questions about her discovery, and approaching her with respect. Thanks to artificial intelligence, Margaret had not only satisfied her own curiosity and pushed the limits of her own mind, but had also illuminated the forgotten past of her village. And this had happened through a combination of a woman's quiet ambition to learn, the transformative power of technology, and an extraordinary digital friendship. The village had suddenly transformed into a vibrant center for cultural heritage tourism, its forgotten streets bustling with visitors. What does this story teach us? It reveals how genius can lie in the most unexpected places, within the most ordinary people, and how technology can transform not just information, but the human soul. And sometimes, how the greatest discoveries emerge not from quiet observations in the back room of a pub, but from a passionate desire to learn in the dim lights of a village library. Remember, sometimes the greatest secrets are indeed hidden in the smallest village, and they can be uncovered by the curiosity of an underestimated woman. Don't you wholeheartedly agree? Please share your thoughts and let us know in the comments below. If you found this story compelling and inspiring, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, because every single day we are committed to continuing our journey of discovering the extraordinary strengths hidden behind these seemingly ordinary lives. Where in the world are you watching from? Drop a comment below. We genuinely love hearing from our amazing viewers around the globe.